Hello, hello, hello. I'm showing green checks everywhere, and I've got the big red live button. So, ladies, I believe we are live. Before we started, before people join us after the show, let's just give them a
thought I was playing? Huh.
All right. Look at my people. Yay! Ooh, I'm so excited, but let's get these introductions out of the way before we get this party started. I am Dr. Barbara Swinney. I'm your life and holistic leadership coach and coach trainer. I'm the founder and CEO of Deeper Women Lead Global, and we just had the most dynamic Deeper Women Speak. I'm so excited that my partners from the stage are here. These are some of the speakers from Deeper Women Speak. The conference on this weekend was live. I'm also so excited that Ms. Coria Burns is here. We're going to let her introduce herself. She was the host for our brunch. But ladies, why don't we just go around the horn, let everybody know who you are so we can get this after show party started. Anybody, jump in. Kimberly, tell them who you are.
I'm Kimberly Becker. I'm a coach and consultant and a leadership practitioner with Move Your Mountain Coaching and Consulting.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Dr. Tijuana Smith-Pittman, aka Dr. T. I am a transformational leader, speaker, coach, mentor. I am the best-selling author of Uniquely Flawed and Powered to Empower.
Hey everybody, I'm Evelyn Shaw Corley. So excited to be here. I am the founder and CEO of Thrive International Academy, which is an academy that does three things. We homeschool, we tutor, and we mentor, and we do so with grace. Very glad to be here, Dr. Barbara.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Evelyn and Miss Coria.
Sure. My name is Coria Burns. I am from 9 to 5, a general sales manager for Radio 1 in Atlanta. And then after 5, I am the Gold Digger Coach and Reboot Specialist. And I help women reclaim passion for goals that they abandoned, whether it was due to career, families, or failed attempts, so they can live life without regrets.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, ladies, you guys already know kind of the history of Deeper Women Lead Global. This is a platform established for women in leadership to heal, lead, and leverage their stories and strategies for life, love, and leadership. And you were indeed a part of that this weekend. I just want to hear the whole purpose of this after the show is to really start getting this transformation going. You know that transformation does not happen overnight. So we don't want people to think that it's a one and done. You come there, you cry, you get it all out, and then you're transformed. But there's so much more to that. So I just wanted to hear about, from a speaker's perspective, from a woman in leadership who took the platform, what was that experience like for you, getting on that stage and sharing your story, or being a part of running the show, basically, Miss Coria Burns? What was that like for you? You guys can just chime in.
So being a part of this experience was not only transformational, it was exciting. You could feel palpable energy in this space. We were crying, we were laughing, we were changing. It was just absolutely incredible. And like Dr. Barbara was saying, it takes action. It wasn't just in the weekend. We have to keep it going. We have a sisterhood. We're building, we're bonding, and we have to take what we learned and apply it. And if you haven't seen what we did and what we spoke about, please check it out on YouTube, all the platforms. We are changing lives, and I am forever changed after this conference.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Dr.
For
T, you
me,
about to chime in?
yeah, Dr. Swinney, for me, and I'm sure I'm really just going to piggyback on what Dr. Evelyn said. Again, we came into the room as speakers, but really what we tapped into is our passion. We were on the flip side. For me, it was being on the flip side. As the founder and CEO of Uniquely God Purpose Enterprises, it gave me an opportunity not just to talk the talk, but walk the walk and to be in the experience itself. So as a speaker, standing up on that stage, you got to really reflect as you were disseminating your passion, as you were disseminating the tools, as you were embracing those that were in the audience. You got an opportunity to really live the thing that you're speaking about as a leader, as a woman. It was twofold for me. There was definitely the individualism there, no question. But in that, there was this component of uniqueness. We got not only to see one another's flaws from a perspective that otherwise we wouldn't have gotten to see, but we got to also realize individually and collectively that our uniqueness is far more impactful than the complexities in which they are established. And then we continued that not only after we got off of the stage, we were able to connect not just with the credentials, we were able to connect woman to woman, face to face, conversation in the corner, in the ladies' room, as we're chewing on that fabulous buffet that we had. It was, as I've said on my page, I have said it was more than a conference. I believe anyone can have a conference, but when you begin to interweave the component of intimacy, it becomes a movement. There was a movement going on from the beginning to the end. We were constantly moving into something that was distinctively unique, and bringing that to the table was very powerful. It was an inevitable experience, and it was an intimate encounter. I've never been exposed to this level of not only sisterhood, but there was definitely a lathering of women in the room from all walks of life, all areas of life that were in the room to not only be celebrated, but to celebrate. There was not a spirit at all of toleration at all. And although some of us were entrepreneurs and some of us may not have been, you came in the room expecting, because you created, Dr. Swinney, an atmosphere that was conducive to the thing that was either spoken or unspoken, the thing that was seen or unseen. And so for me, I walked away. Well, I really didn't walk away. I floated away out of the room. Come on here, somebody. I floated out of the room, not only with those specific things, but I floated away unpacking the things that I didn't quite have an answer to. I took a little bit from here. I took a little bit from there. The buffet, the physical buffet was exquisite. But I tell you, the spirit buffet was mind-blowing. It was transformative. There was a transformative grace in the room as we walked and encountered one another, as we cried, as we hugged, as we exchanged numbers, as we tried to figure out how we got to our contacts on our iPhones. Come on here, somebody. That was me. Amen. But it was more than, Dr. Swinney, it was more than just an encounter. It was more than just an experience. We came into the room and left out of the room no longer sitting in those places of surface living. It took us to the root of it. And for me, being able to share that and share my passion, and then hear someone else's passion and be able to partake from that buffet, it really was transformative.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what my takeaway on it.
That was your
I'm
takeaway.
still on the cloud.
Good stuff. And you know what? My goal, and I think I told all of you this during the interview, was that women would leave there thinking, I cannot go back home doing the same thing that I had done. And I don't know about them. Well, I do know about them, but I left there thinking, oh my gosh, like the game has changed, even for me. Like I've got to do something different. And I said at the conference that what got you to this level will not get you to the next level. And the level goes higher and higher and higher. And I'm getting chill bumps right now just thinking about. I posted a picture just a few minutes ago of when you guys were encircling me and praying for me, and I'm just in the middle with my head down, thinking, like how the thing that I see in my head is so much greater than what I'm standing in right now. It's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna need a circle in order to get to the next level. And in this next season, collaboration is going to be necessary. You're going to need other people to get to where you're trying to go. Corey, did you want to chime in with your experience, or Kimberly?
Yeah, I will chime in, but actually, Dr. T hit it. You know, many of you had spoken to Dr. Swinney, you had gone through the interview process. I had not. But at the same time, I think when I started off early Friday, I said I came expecting something. I got way more than I bargained for. And I was trying to explain to somebody how I felt and what it felt like in that room. And finally, I told her, "You just got to come next year. You just got to." Because it was so hard to replicate the feeling that was in the room. And I said, "Have you ever listened to, an audio book?" And she's like, "I love audiobooks." I said, "Now imagine listening to a phenomenal audiobook, so to speak, over and over and over again, because you kept hearing these incredible stories, although they were they were incredible. They were all incredibly unique.
Yes.
Everybody's story was unique. So it was like listening to this great book, and then you're like, man, that was good. And then you hear another one, and you're like, that was good too. It was different, but it was still good. So I did explain to her, I said, you just have to be there. You got to be there next year. So to hear the excitement in my voice, she said, it sounds like it. I said, it was phenomenal. It absolutely was.
Good stuff.
Well, I'll go ahead and talk next. So one thing, I knew I was going to share my story, but like everybody else, I had this anticipation of receiving also. And being on this stage, it was really interesting. The first night we came, when we got together and met, there was a safety, there was a trust, and an intimacy that was built from the get-go. And I remember my husband asking, what type of people were there? And I said, I don't know, but there was such an even playing field. Like, yes. I don't remember any kind of comparison or anything else. It was, I came to the table to cheer on women who were doing things and growing and healing, and movement was happening.
Yes.
So the rest, I don't know, but I walked away with a sisterhood and forever friends that rocked my world.
Yes.
And excitement and anticipation for the future, but absolutely of walking away and analyzing the last couple of days of what's next and how do I put that into action and who do I need at the table to help me move forward.
That's good, Kimberly. One of the things that I don't know who I was speaking to yesterday, but we did have a wide range of people in the room, a wide range of speakers, a wide range of experiences. And one of the things that I said to somebody yesterday, there's something about your story that levels the playing field. It really just makes you a woman. It's a common experience. I think Diana Lynch said it from the stage. She said, we're at our core, we're all the same. And I think it was Jill Bolte Taylor, I always quote her. She's a neurosurgeon who said that we are 99.9% biologically the same. The rest of it, we're just making up. So that means, Dr. Michelle, if I feel it, there's a likelihood that my sister feels it as well. The only thing that separates us are our life experiences. And at times, those don't even separate us that squarely, really.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about, we see some new people coming in the room. We're going to bring people up to speed. I'm Dr. Barbara Swinney, the host of Deeper Women Speak Atlanta, which was held this weekend at the Westin. We had a phenomenal time. I'm here with some of the speakers, some of the phenomenal women in leadership who took the stage on Friday and Saturday. And man, what a time we had. We're just talking about our experience. And I'm going to kick it over to, we just had a couple of more speakers to join us. So Dr. Michelle, you want to talk about your experience at the conference?
Wow. that's I'm gonna start with that. But as my sisters, and I do consider these women my sisters, as my sisters have said, my heart is still so full every time I even think about it. And it blew my mind. It really blew my mind because even when you come with expectation, God does far and above what you think or imagine. And I feel like that's what happened in the room on Friday and Saturday. And walking away from that experience, first of all, it was just like I wanted to linger. I wanted to stay. But I recognize, and I know we all recognize, that God allows us to walk through and go through this phenomenal experience in order to mold us and shape us for what's next. And so even though we would have loved to have lingered, now he's saying, go out and get busy with what I've called you to from here forward. And so it's such a blessing to be connected, because I know that one can chase 1,000, right? But two can put 10,000 to flight. And when God brings us together like this, he's about to do something so powerful in the kingdom. And so I'm just so full and so excited and expecting really what's next. And honestly, I can't fathom it. I don't know what it is, but I know it's something, because we can't receive the way we received and just let it fall to the ground and do nothing with it. So I'm just so very grateful for the opportunity. I'm so very grateful for you, Dr. Barbara. I'm grateful for the beautiful women on this screen and the other ones that were there. I'm just very grateful. And so I am just ready to say, okay, Lord, here I am. Send me. What is it? What's the next move? What's the next step? Because as Dr. T said, this is a movement. And so we've got to keep the momentum going with what God has deposited in us through the Deeper Women Speak conference. So just very, very grateful.
That is such good stuff. Dr. T, somebody said, Donna Middlebrooks, who was at the conference, you guys remember Donna? She was on stage with Diana. Lynn, she received our Global Impact Award. She just said, Dr. T, your energy infused the room.
Wow.
Dr. T came out there in that pink dress. She said, you like it or leave it, you're going to get all of these uniquely flawed everything that I can bring on this stage. And it was so powerful. The textures were just so different and so, somebody said it earlier, palatable. It was just amazing to see. We see Dr. Pooler has joined us on the stage. Dr. Pooler, tell us about your experience.
I'm so fired up. I'm so fired up. I've talked to, we got our own little circle going to that we just kind of continue to encourage each other. And I think the biggest thing for me is a lot of times I'll just, lie dormant. I withdraw. I'm kind of an introvert. And one of the things that stood out was that our gifts don't belong to us. I like run from it a lot, but when I'm in the midst of it, it feels so natural. It feels so good. And afterwards, it's just like, okay, I did it. So I think the biggest thing is no more shrinking, that it's time to continue to use my gift, surrender to it, and continue to be who God has created me to be. And now I have, a good group of sisters that are just eager to support. And the other thing that you stated was about, being in a circle. And if you're a 7 and you're looking up to 4s, you're not going to grow.
That's
So
right.
I just feel like we're in really good soil, and that's important. Being under great leadership is so crucial, because you can have the same individual and put them in different soil and you're going to get a different outcome. So I just really feel like this was destined. It's important. And I'm just looking forward to seeing where everybody grows and everybody goes moving forward.
I love it. Corey and I were having a conversation in the hallway, and we said, oh my gosh, we're thinking too small. Corey, can you tell us about that moment and what you were thinking as you were sitting there at the conference and you started thinking, oh my gosh, I'm thinking too small?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was right after Diana and Donna.
Mm-hmm.
And just as I was getting ready to head up to my room, I mean, and it was like it got dropped on me like a ton of bricks because I started thinking about all of these things that I wanted to accomplish and how, inspired I have been. But and
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing, but to not take what we got and do nothing with it
Yes.
is shameful. And in fact, I said it to myself later on that night. I would be very disrespectful to God not to take what I had learned
Yes.
and build upon it. It would be disrespectful because how dare I be given a vision? How dare I be given a gift
Mm-hmm.
and just use a little bit of it or
Yes.
sprinkle it here and sprinkle it there? You know, I want to be able to grow. And
Yes.
I believe somebody else said that grow what was given to me, grow my own gift, and make sure that this time next year I have a totally different story to tell. Because if
Yes.
I come back and I have the same story, that's a problem.
Yes.
I want to have
Yeah.
bigger stories, bolder stories of things that I've been able to accomplish simply because I came there and I started to think bigger than I
Yes.
had been.
Yes. I laid across the bed today to take a little nap, and somebody called about a collaboration that they wanted to do, and I said, I got to go back and rewrite the vision. I've got to reimagine the vision and take the cap off, take Barbara off, take Barbara off of it so that it can expand and become really what it needs to be. So, man, yes, you are right, Corey. We were thinking too small. And that was the same experience I had. I had a previous experience with Donna and Diana that kind of put me in that place of, girl, you're thinking way too small. You really got to take the lid off. But this conference uh, really took me to a different place. Um, it also kind of showed me my almost responsibility to do something, my responsibility to operate in my purpose and not play around, not get discouraged when things are not looking the way I think they're supposed to be looking. Because if nothing else taught me, this conference taught me it's going to turn out how you see it in your head. And I was very sure about what I had in my head. And I promise you, as I stood on that stage, it looked just like what I had in my head. So I feel like this was my lesson in listen, by the time I put it, by the time it makes it from your belly to your head, your job, your only job is to manifest it, make it come into the earth. So get behind that computer, create those flyers, do those interviews. You do the work on your side of the mountain, and he'll come up the other. So it's really just about be consistent, keep doing the work, keep doing the thing that you know that you're supposed to be doing. What was one of the most impactful moments during the conference for you, Dr. T?
There were so many. We would be here at least until next Christmas. But I was just sitting here thinking about, Mariah coming up to the stage and, spooing the room, if you will, lathering the room with expectation. And then when Dr. Donna Middlebrooks and came and began to give her presentation, and as I was sitting there, again, I thought to myself, I thought that my mentality, my vision was beyond me. And God doesn't just want us to look at it from the perspective of it being beyond us. He wants it to be unfathomable. So I went from thinking, okay, maybe a 10 unit, a 6 to 10 unit apartment building to no, I can see the resort.
Yes.
I can see the resort. I can see being the first. I can see, even if that isn't my posture. I can see being the investor.
Yes.
And it took me totally in a different direction. Investor in terms of not just from being full of success, but coming into a place where that success is just unfathomable.
Yes.
When I think about, interacting in that circle, if I may, for just a moment, go back to that circle. That circle had so many components to it, which I don't think as we were in it, we even realized it, talking about on Thursday night.
Yes.
But what it did was it really prepared us to be able to receive the nutrients that God had put on the inside of you. Because a lot of times we want to sit at the table, and sometimes we can't eat what's been placed at the table. We have to be mindful of what's been placed before us. But everything that was placed, that was on the inside of you, had to be intravenously by the Spirit. We had to be able to come up to that and take that. What's the devil is a liar?
Right.
The devil is a liar in the name of Jesus. No, sir, we're not having that.
That's right.
We're not having that. As I was saying,
yes,
we had to be able to not only connect with the assignment. The greatest assignment was us connecting with one another. That was the greatest assignment of them all, because if we couldn't connect as women prior to your arrival, we were not going to connect to those that were going to come in the room.
That's
so
right.
There had to be unity. There had to be unity with Dr. Erica and I. There had to be unity with Dr. Cammie. There had to be unity and no competition in that circle. And I'm here to tell you, when we left out of there and went to the other side of the room and got that array of wings, it was on. It was on. We were sucking our fingers, eating the celery, talking with Dr. Poole. We got in our corner. We're talking to her daughter. That there was a thread there that was necessary, and that was one of my biggest takeaways for it.
So what Dr. T is talking about. So we were set to have a speaker's reception. That sounds very fancy, and I meant for it all to be fancy. Yeah. But I got caught in traffic. And then we got home and we were packing the car. The dog ran out. He got attacked by the war dog next door. No, a literal war dog next door. He got attacked. So I ended up not showing up until about 8 o'clock. But I'm telling you, when I got into the room, the speakers were already in a circle. They had already connected. And I believe that it was divinely designed that way, because I had already had individual time with each of you. But you guys had not been able to spend that time together, and it made for a more cohesive show. I believe that made for a more cohesive show. My sister just walked in the room. She said, "Beautiful job, ladies." Katrina, she's another one of our platform speakers. She says, "Hello, beautiful women of God." And Donna Shaw, Middlebrooks, is saying, "We are to expect exponential growth of our God-given gifts, and that was exposed, and revealed this weekend." Yes.
Absolutely.
On the second day, Dr. Poole did an amazing job hosting that, moderating that panel. Yes. She was a little reluctant at first, but let me tell you something. She got into it.
Yes, she did.
She asked some amazing questions. I really like the way she balanced the personal and professional. We were talking about the impact of trauma and healing from trauma, and then leveraging that. Dr. Poole, you want to talk a little bit about that experience when you were moderating the panel?
Sure. One of the things that is important that I believe is that, everybody has problems, everybody has situations and traumas. And some of us have faced them, some of us have not. And then we're all over. So not only do we have those, but we lead other people, we lead our families, we lead our, different professions. And I think it's important to create a safe space, not only for us to be vulnerable, but it allows other people to be vulnerable as well. So that was important for me to figure out, and also have them tell the audience how do they provide that safe haven for people at work, for their families, for their children, whatever the case may be, just to be cognizant that everybody's going through something. And it's important for us to give grace, and to think, okay, if someone is out of character or whatever, like what is the antecedent behavior? What is the underlying cause? And how do I make that room better rather than make it worse? I think it's important to see how energy shifts with you, and for you to do some self-assessments that when you enter a space, when you enter a room, when you enter the house, what vibe are you bringing? And so it was really good. Like once I get going, it's like, okay, then I'm get there. But I am always reluctant and shy and withdrawn. But I think once I'm thrown into the fire, I'll do what I need to do to make
Let
it
me
happen.
tell
But it
you.
was really wonderful speaking with the different panelists.
Dr. Pooler was so hyped up. She kept pulling me over for interviews at the end. So look, so all of that footage y'all are seeing with Dr. Pooler interviewing me, she was like, "Come on, Dr. Swinney, get over here and do this interview." I was like, "Oh, you're in it now. You are."
Yeah. Once I got it, I was on fire after I got it. I was like, okay, it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. I saw one of your posts, Dr. Michelle, and I didn't know this, but Dr. Michelle apparently was, every time she would go to the room, she would go live and give updates on where we were at the conference. And I saw the last one, Dr. Michelle. Can you talk a little bit about what you were feeling and just kind of how you were moved at the conference?
Ooh, I could barely get through that one. I went to the room and I was just sitting in the silence, and I wanted to share because I wanted people to, in some way, experience and feel what I was feeling at that moment. But there was just a strong presence of the Holy Spirit. And it just had me so overwhelmed that I could barely get out the words to just let people know how amazing the conference was. And really the words that I spoke could not really convey what I was feeling, but it was just it was a beautiful sense of God's presence. And really what we've talked about here, just the weight of the glory of God that had come through that experience. And so I was trying to express that in my live, but I don't know how well I did, but I tried just to let people know that it was just something so phenomenal that there were really no words. I mean, and that's what the Holy Spirit does when he shows up. There's really no words.
There's really no words.
Yeah.
And then Miss Evelyn, or Dr. Evelyn, as Dr. T calls her. Dr. T, she's calling everybody into doctoralship.
Yes.
She has. I'm not a doctor, but I will appreciate Dr. Evelyn. That's fun.
Dr. Evelyn, when you got that award, Dr. Evelyn received the Global Educator Award. Congratulations to you. It was our first ever Global Educator Award. When I was looking for people, look.
I carry it everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I was on Facebook, and we were only going to give out 3 awards, but I heard you celebrating with some of your teachers across the world, really. And
Yes.
I said, you know what? Evelyn's going to get the Global Educator Award for the work that you're doing here in the U.S. and abroad. And Evelyn, what was it like for you to hear your name? Did you know I was talking about you? Did you have any idea?
Okay, ladies, let me just tell you, I had zero clue that this award was coming. And I remember sitting in my chair, and Dr. Barber said one little sentence about this person. And I said to myself, well, that sounds like me, but no. And then again, well, that kind of sounds like me, but no. And I was completely blown away in every possible imaginable way that this award was given. I am so incredibly appreciative because I never fit the mold of a traditional public school teacher. And I have been in the traditional public school since 2005.
Yes.
That system is a system that has pros and cons, and I really struggled and created my own system that
Yes.
works for so many children who do not fit in the public schools. And so to have received that award brought me to my knees. I was crying. I couldn't find the words to truly speak to this emotion and feeling. And Dr. Barber knows that this award has been opening doors for me left and right. Collaborations are just pouring through.
Yay.
And I mean, I'm getting emotional just thinking about everything that's happened since receiving that award. And I cannot thank you enough for even allowing me to be a speaker, to be in the room. Thank you.
I'm getting chill bumps right now because that is the whole purpose of the platform, to lift other women in leadership so you can get the recognition and all of that you're supposed to get. So kudos to you on what's to come. We know that you have some very, very exciting news that we can't talk about right now.
Not yet, but soon.
And we're going to be celebrating with you. And also, you know, in our little community that we have, I see Kim McDonald Taylor. She was at the conference. She was the one who did she was Elise Faye, custom jewelry maker. She did the bracelet bar. And I believe a few ladies actually were in her conference. She says, what an amazing conference. I love the diverse stories and the fantastic energy. And now we had a special segment at the conference, and it was called the Speaker Spotlight. And the Speaker Spotlight was for women who had never told their stories publicly before. They literally sat in the middle of the stage on a stool and told their stories for the first time. Now, I knew that this was going to be impactful, but I had no clue how impactful it would be on both sides, from the person telling the story and from the ladies hearing the story. That they, after each of them told their stories, the place erupted. The women stood up and, you know, clapped and screamed for them. And it was just so powerful. And the feedback that I've gotten from those speakers has just been phenomenal. They see themselves differently after sharing their story. And that's just the power of sharing your story. And when you share that story, you open other people up. You give them the freedom to be vulnerable and stand in who they are in their stories. What stood out most to you, or either of you, during that time when the speakers were sharing their stories?
Go ahead.
What stood out the most for me was it was a reminder of where God had brought me from. It not only gave the women in the room an opportunity to take their own personal stage right in their seat. It was a reminder of my story and my journey. And I think, I believe when you can provoke and invoke simultaneously from different gamuts, from different perspectives of a woman's life across the world or even locally, that's powerful. It took me to a place that I had not been in a long time, and found myself just grateful, humbled, and yet at the same time, as Dr. Michelle said, just really allowing the Holy Spirit to allow that to erupt in me and be thankful in that moment. Because I think sometimes we can know it, but sometimes you have to feel it again. And I felt it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. So,
anybody else? What stood out to you during the speaker spotlight?
For myself, one of the things that I learned the first time I shared my story years ago was we walk almost in shame of our story. And I remember thinking, if I share my story, I let the secrets out. And what will people say?
Yes.
But I remember sharing for the first time. And when I walked off that stage, there was an empowering that happened. And so when the ladies shared their story, one, I felt so honored that we got to be a part of them sharing their story first. And I already knew the safety and the trust that was in that room. And so my hope and what I saw as they continued to share their story and then came off the stage was that hopefully they were empowered in the same way to realize that when we share our story, it's not about weakness, right? But it's about a sign of boldness and strength. And then we realize too, people respect and honor us because of our boldness.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And the notion that women are not out here supporting each other clearly was debunked for me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Clearly, like it was that's the opposite of what's happening out here. So I would tell anybody, don't pay attention to what's happening on social media. I was most impressed by my daughter, my 23-year-old, who's been hooking arms with me in this thing the whole way. And she was given a testimonial, and I can't wait until, it's published. But she just said, you guys didn't see the behind the scenes. She said, you didn't see the times when she was in the bed crying, or the times that I would walk in the room and her head was in her hands. You guys didn't get to see all of that. So for you, yes, it looks amazing. But for me, it's over the top because I get to see all the stuff that she's been talking about. I see it like it's she was walking in it with me. But more importantly, she said, I came here kind of as a little girl, helping her mommy put this thing together. And she said, but at some point, I became a young woman trying to grow into her independence. And she said, and one of the things at that point that had stood out to her was Evelyn's message about living fearlessly. And she said, I'm a Virgo. I get into myself. I want to be in control, especially when it comes to things in my life. And she said, what I'm understanding is living fearlessly really means just giving it up to God. Just give it up to God. So that was a huge transformation for her. Even after the first day, she brought along a couple of friends the second day, and they were coming to help to volunteer. And she said, Mommy, is it okay if they come in afterwards? Because I want them to get something too. And I said, absolutely, it's okay. So of course, they've been saying, okay, what are you going to have for us? What's going to be for us? You're going to have to include something for us next time. So we're working on something for women ages 18 to 25 for the next conference. Our next conference is going to be September 8th and 9th. So go ahead and mark your calendars. We are going to be ready to do this again, and even in a more amazing way. So I'm just excited about the transformation that's happening for everybody. Even I think Josh, is that your son-in-law's name, Dr. Pooler?
Yes, Josh, and Kia is my daughter, and she's 26. So you're gonna have to bump it up like one more.
One more year. 18 to 30. 18 to 30. Let's get
Yes.
But I was going through the pictures on my phone, and I saw a picture of Josh. I captured a picture of him taking notes.
Yes.
He's taking notes as well. And then Sean Fair was there, my coach from Detroit, Michigan. He said, man, during that speaker spotlight, I had to step out because, man, I can't be in here crying with all these women. So it was really, truly a powerful segment. The whole thing was powerful. Just seeing us all come together, the energy in the room. A couple of times they came over and told us our music was too loud, but they couldn't help but to join in. They were like,
that was hilarious.
This is amazing. And I posted something on Instagram, I believe, and somebody commented, oh yeah, I was in the tax lien meeting next door. And I was like, man, those guys are bunch over there. I'm at the wrong party. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to you women for for trusting me with your story, for trusting me to stand on this platform that I've built. You don't know me from, or didn't know me from anybody. And I'm sure you get, things popping up on your social media all the time about conferences and all of that. But I'm grateful that you chose this one to connect with. And I'm super excited. I'm starting interviews for the next conference. We are right now booked through June. I probably have about 50 interviews booked already.
Wow.
So I'm
Awesome.
excited to get started with that as we continue to expand and grow our Deeper Women League Global community. I am just excited to lock arms with you ladies in your projects as well. I know Cammie is getting ready for a book signing. Cammie Barnes, she's not on here tonight. Dr. T is getting ready to release or start writing an expansion of her book. You want to talk about that a little bit, Dr. T?
Yes, I'm excited about it. I really, really had no idea what God wanted to do with Uniquely Flawed. I thought, okay, we'll just move on to, the next phase of it. And I just kept feeling this tugging to take it to another level. A lot of times when we read books, and this is not to throw shade on anyone, but I find a lot of times that they are just that, workbooks. And I get bored sometimes because it's cumbersome. And so this extension is going to be more conversational, an opportunity for me to not rewrite and rehash what is in Uniquely Flawed, Empowered to Empower, but to really say, okay, now I've given you a sneak peek behind the veil of my journey and my process. And so now I'm willing to walk hand in hand with you, but I can't do it for you. I want you to be able to take these thoughts, this conversation, and sit with it, and in sitting with it, be able to not just see from my perspective, but see from your very own perspective that we focus way too much time on our flaws. We're all flawed according to the Word of God. But to look at it from the perspective of what is so unique about my journey. There may be similarities, but if I sit down and I write about my journey and my processes are going to be distinctively different than someone else. And I think a lot of times we don't have that conversation with self. So that's what he's given me. I'm really excited about bringing that to the forefront and taking it to another level. If I may, I would like to share something that the Lord gave me that ties right into this. When I was in my quiet time of ruminating, and it ties right in with Dr. Wells said as well, the Lord said, I didn't bring you to the stage to conform to the stage. I brought you for the stage to conform to you.
Yes.
And that's what I've seen in all of our unique stories. We, especially Dr. Evelyn said, there's some things she's doing and it didn't fit the mold. I didn't fit the mold. And so God has created a space in us that we can go back and look at that space and say, that can help somebody.
Yes.
I can, if I'm vulnerable, if I'm willing to be vulnerable enough, I can share that with someone in whatever capacity that is. Dr. Fuller talked about being an introvert. Believe it or not, I used to be that same way. I think to some degree I still may be, but maybe not in the way that I used to be, and looked at that as being shameful, as Pastor Kimberly said. But when I think about this workbook, it's more of us, the woman that's going to be reading it, sitting back on her sofa with some Starbucks coffee, and allowing herself to talk to herself. So that's why I'm very excited about it. So pray for me.
Yes, we will. We will. Miss Evelyn, what do you have going on next, Dr. Evelyn?
I love this Dr. Evelyn. That is so fun. So in the Land of Thrive International Academy, we're starting something called Phone a Friend, because we are needing to hire more and more teachers for what we're going to be doing. So I have that going on. And I have another book inside of me. I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. And I really wanted to contribute a few minutes ago and say that a former student of mine reached out to me on Instagram, and she saw a couple of reels that I had posted about my story. And I didn't even know initially that I wanted to share the bad news boyfriend cycle. I didn't know that that was going to be part of what I wanted to share a few months ago, but I felt super compelled and led to share that I dated one unsavory character after another.
Right.
And then back in the day when I was young, I married an unsavory character. And she said, Miss Evelyn, I'm not Dr. Evelyn in real life, I wish. Miss Evelyn, you are speaking my story.
Mm.
And it stopped her from marrying an unsavory character. And I said, queens do not need a man. We do well on our own. A man is wonderful, and I am married to the dearest, most handsome, loving, amazing, compassionate human. I love him, but I am strong enough to do this by myself, and I know that. And I want our younger women to know. Many of us thought, oh, when am I going to get married? When is this going to happen? I'm so ready. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. And I want to pour into our youth and say, take your time. It's okay. Get to know yourself. And so I'm not going to take too much time, but I just really wanted to express that hearing from my former students and having them make valuable choices in their lives and that we're changing their lives, that's what means so much to me.
That's good. That's good. You know, when you develop in you the thing that you need, then you know what you need a man for.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
often we're operating from a deficit.
Yeah.
So the first time he tells you you're cute, if you hadn't been told that in 20 years,
Right.
I used to have to tell myself, remember, you're operating at a deficit. You're operating at a deficit.
That's right. And I used to think, I'm so sorry. I used to think it was the man who pays you the most attention. That's not necessarily true. Just chiming in, but that's a story for another day.
Yes, that's on the next platform. Next time you get on the platform. Dr. Michelle, what do you have coming up next?
I'm just continuing to work with women in the Bold Voice program, helping them to break through those obstacles so they can lead in their destiny.
Yes.
So continuing to work with the women that will come, and looking again just to collaborate and work with other beautiful souls like that are on this platform tonight to really empower and, just like Evelyn is saying, let these women know you are a queen. That's what Dr. T, every time we got to take a picture, queens. we just need to know that that's what we are. And that's really my heart, is just for women not to be small, but to think big and to see themselves as God sees them. So
right. And I think that's a part of our journey. You know, we are eagles, and eagles fly above the rain.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not afraid to get wet.
That's good.
Yep.
That's
So
good.
so we can do all of, like Evelyn said, the things. But we know how to go above the rain and fly up there, so we can have a bird's eye view of what really is going on and what really needs to happen. What's up next for you, Kimberly?
Well, next week I start a 6-week community leadership program.
Oh, yay.
And then by the end of the year, my hope is to finish my first book that I've been working on.
Yes.
And this fall to have a women's retreat. So
look at you. Let's go and get it. Good stuff. What about you, Miss Coria?
So I am working on a second book. But even outside of that, I'm more excited to get to work with Dr. Swinney moving forward
Yay!
to really take what I've been saying I wanted to do for the longest to the next level. That is what I'm most excited about.
Yes, I
Absolutely.
am super excited. She alluded to it at the conference,
Yeah.
but I am so excited that we'll get to work together, and I'm excited for what's about to happen for you and me.
Yes, absolutely.
Dr. Pooler, what's up for you?
I think one of the things I want to work on is continue to work on the self-care, but also empowering women to take the time to do it for themselves as well. A lot of times I talk about how we're so giving and feeling, the husbands, the kids, the jobs, that the cup is empty for us. One day I took the time to just write down all the things that make me happy, and I do them. I travel, I go, I
Wow.
hike, I row, I do all these different things. So I'm hoping to maybe start some meetups so that I can say, hey, we're meeting up this Saturday to go to do all those things so that other women can kind of take time. I'll go places and write things out. I'll go, just all the things that just bring me peace and joy. And I think that they may do the same thing for others. So I'm going to do those things and then eventually a women's retreat.
I love that. It's called the what? The Pooler effect is what we named it.
I love it.
That's what we named it during our program. Good stuff. And I told, I don't know if I told Corey or if I told you, Dr. Pooler, that you two need to hook up. You both are lovers of travel. And
Yay.
Dr. Pooler and I are going to be putting some time on our schedule so we can start developing the global part of Deeper Women.
Yes.
So I'm so excited about that. And what's up next for Deeper Women Lead Global is September 8th and 9th. Deeper Women Speak is coming to you again. We're going to start our interviews in a couple of weeks. Also, there are some of you who are on the screen right now who are part of the anthology that will be published at the next conference, actually. It'll be a part of that conference. We are looking for, I think we have 4 more slots left. So if somebody wants to join us in the anthology, you can certainly do that, but I'll be putting information out about that as well. And today I had a very, very exciting conversation with the publisher for Deeper Women Magazine.
Yay!
All right.
I love it.
So we are working on, I'm just going to steal Evelyn's thing. We are working on all the things. So I'm excited about what's to come. I'm excited about this connection. We'll continue to communicate and stay in touch and just love on each other and support each other. I know Cammie's not on here, but she's getting ready to do her book signing. That's coming up. I think I saw May 27th.
27th.
Yes. And so if you can, support her, Cammie Barnes on Facebook. I think she's the real Cammie Barnes on Instagram. So follow her. And if you are interested in staying in touch with what's happening with Deeper Women Lead Global, go to deeperwomenleadglobal.org. You can find information about the conference there, as well as we have a Facebook group that is public now, but will soon go private. So that is Deeper Women Lead on Facebook. Go and join the group. And we're going to start doing some lives and have some fun things going on in there. And is there anything that anybody would like to leave for our audience tonight before we sign off?
If there's anyone in the Georgia area that needs to buy or sell a home, I'm available to support you in that process. Or if you want to consult on the processes of what you need to do to get ready to do that, I'd love to help you with home ownership.
Where can they go to find you, Dr. Pooler?
Pooler Realty on Instagram.
Pooler Realty on Instagram. Go and check out those fabulous videos that Josh and what's your daughter's name?
Kia
put together. Amazing, extremely professional. I said, oh my gosh, I need to hire them.
Yes.
All right. Anybody else want to leave anything for the Deeper Women?
Yes.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, don't leave a dream internal. Don't leave a gift internal.
That's good.
And there's opportunity to start with the next stage in September. But again, like we said, that gift's not for you. So step out in faith and launch your gift.
That's good. Good stuff. Thank you. Yay! We are going to say goodbye and good night.
Goodbye.
We will see you on the next.
Good night. Good night.